Cubs are 7-3 in their last 10 games. This weekend, they came off of a rare series win in Los Angeles against the Dodgers. The first time they've won in Los Angeles since 2014. So that even when they won the goddamn World Series back in 2016, they did not win their series with the Dodgers. So that was kind of amazing that they were able to do that this weekend.
Yeah, I feel like Cody Bellinger had a chip on his shoulder for that game.
He did.
Games.
He had so much that he's going to end up as a nominee in our Badass of the Week segment. So, yeah, he did quite a few incredible things within that series and this week. We recorded last Saturday in the hole number 120, I think it was. So Friday night's game had already occurred, 8-2 victory by the Cubs, but Saturday was the lone loss since we've recorded last for the Cubs. But it was a great game, a little bit of a controversial loss where Michael Fulmer blew the save in the ninth, 1-0 lead, got blown. There was some controversy and some criticism of David Ross, which I was wondering if you had thoughts of, or if you even paid attention to it.
I didn't pay attention.
Okay. Well, you're always keen to be able to rip on David Ross, so I thought maybe you'd jump in on that. But the idea was there was runners on second and third. Jason Hayward came up. Some speculated that they should intentionally walk him with one out to create a force at every base. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, even though Hayward had shown a little bit of power earlier in that series, but or maybe it was earlier that day in that game, but I think intentionally walking Jason Hayward is kind of absurd. The next batter was David Peralta, which is not someone I would consider walking. You don't have to pitch around him necessarily.
Yeah, no.
Of course, he got a ground ball. It hit fairly hard, but it could have been a pretty routine force out or double play or whatever, however it was going to end. But of course, it dribbled through, game winner, 2 runs scored. Michael Fulmer blows the save. Everyone blames David Ross because they lost the game and they're angry. A lot of people were saying that, of course, they should have intentionally walked David Peralta, but the problem is Will Smith was potentially available off the bench as a pinch hitter. So if you walk David Peralta to get to Will Smith and you lose the game, I mean, David Ross is going to get excoriated for that as well. So
who got the game-winning hit?
Peralta.
Oh, what did Hayward do?
Hayward flew out, I think.
Okay, so nothing.
So that's why there were 2 outs.
Nothing scored on Hayward's.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
sorry.
I still don't understand any Cubs fan logic, because at the end of the day, if the ball dribbled through, it wouldn't matter if the bases were loaded or not.
Right, but the idea was he should have been intentionally walked because there was an open base at first. Sorry,
but he's a terrible. No. I understand the logic, but he's a shitty hitter.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Out, so what?
I think that it was a huge topic on Chicago Sports Talk Radio over the weekend. So it's not just Cubs fans worried about it. It was a big topic. I'm just saying
anyone who suggests that idea is an ass, because the outcome of the game ends up probably the same based on the way you described it.
Well, I mean, right.
There's only 1 out. If the ball gets through,
then there were 2. I'm sorry. I did a terrible. First of all, I thought you understood this situation, but that was my mistake.
I thought there was.
I described number 2 as I described it horribly. Hayward flew out, I believe. So there were 2 outs with runners on second and third.
Right. So now they want to, after not intentionally walking Peralta. Hayward, they want him to intentionally walk Peralta too.
Well, this is specifically Matt Spiegel on Hit and Run Sunday morning, the morning after the game. He was not happy with David Ross. And his first thought, he said his first guess was he should have, instead of judging him by the results, he said he was thinking at the time that they should have walked Hayward, which I thought was ridiculous. I also thought it was ridiculous to walk Peralta, just because if you happen to uh, walk him and Dave Roberts pinch hits Will Smith, then you look like a total fool. The other mitigating circumstance that you don't know anything about is that there was some question whether Will Smith was actually even available. He did end up, I believe now is on the concussion list, but that was not known at the time. And it was most likely gamesmanship on Dave Roberts' part not to let anyone know the availability or lack thereof of Will Smith. So now that everyone knows that Will Smith was actually not available, and I even saw reporting at the time saying that Will Smith wasn't even in the ballpark, which is 100% false. Which is another thing that kind of drove me crazy about this whole thing. That Ross is an idiot for not trying to go to Adley or no, it's not Adley Rush. I forget who their actual catcher was at the time that was going to have to hit, because he's awful too. But again, if the chance is that Will Smith comes in the game and they lose because of that, Ross is going to get killed no matter what. So
yeah, I get okay. Now
I'm almost sorry I brought this up.
No, but now I just pulled up the box score because I needed this to make sense to me. And here's what I'll say: I don't agree with intentionally walking Hayward but I agree that they should have intentionally walked Peralta, because Austin Barnes is probably going to bat, but this is in hindsight. But
this is the question, because you thought he would pinch hit with Will Smith for Austin Barnes. So that's the question. Now people are saying that, after the fact, everyone's saying, or people are saying that Ross should have known that Will Smith wasn't available, but you don't know that. I mean, that you don't know that until after the game. And Dave Roberts actually lays his cards down and said, he was not available, but nobody knew that at the time. So,
yeah, he wasn't put on a list yet. The Cubs would have no reason to be like, come on, tell us the truth. Is he available? I mean, like,
right.
yeah. So,
yeah.
Okay. So then, not knowing, let's just close this segment out.
I might cut this out, but
no, but like, seriously, like, if you think Will Smith is going to pinch hit, you pitch to Peralta.
Yeah, I mean, that's a no-brainer. It's just, I feel like people play the results. And if they lose the game, you're angry. You want to blame the manager, blame the closer. If you see a strategy call that you think you know more than the manager does, you're going to call him out for it. I think it's playing the results. I also think, really, my overarching thought, and the only reason I brought it up is I love that we're even having this debate, because for the last 3 years, we haven't given a fuck about Cubs games to the point where we would debate the minutia this deep. So we're kind of proving my point anyway by getting this deep into something this small. One Cubs loss, a 1-run loss, a blown save in the 9th inning against a really good team is causing so much consternation. This is a great thing. The Cubs are fucking relevant again. So games matter. I haven't felt this in a couple of years with the Cubs. So that's my whole point. So I guess I am glad I brought this up, but I feel bad it's taken 20 minutes to get through this, but sorry for putting everyone through this. Sorry for confusing you. I made you look up a box score. But yeah, I think you finally, after all that, you understand the situation. But I don't know. They lost, but that was their only loss of this entire weekend. So 3-2 victory on Sunday. It's clinching their series victory, like I said, for the first time against the Dodgers in LA since 2014. That moved the Cubs to Oakland, which is a series they should obliterate the A's, and they subsequently have, finally with a 12-2 victory this afternoon, completing the sweep. Little bit of just insider talk that I happen to have. I happen to know that the A's surprise starter, Mason Miller from out of nowhere, was starting today because he's a former Lugnut, Lansing Lugnut, high A affiliate of the Oakland A's. I got a request from my client to make a graphic congratulating one Mason Miller for making his way all the way to the majors. He was a 2021 draftee. He spent part of 2022 with the Lugnuts, and is already up in the major leagues. which kind of speaks to how thin the Oakland A's really are. That
Right.
somebody was with the high A lug nuts last year is now pitching today for the Oakland A's. He actually did really well. It looked pretty solid. Cubs feasted on their bullpen, but so a sweep of the A's is nothing to really write home about, but they did their job. They needed to beat up on the teams that should be beaten up upon, which is what good teams do. So I appreciated that.
Wordhole Media.